Hi, how are you doing? My name is Otto and welcome back to the channel. Don't want to hype this video, but Hohem just created a smartphone gimbal that looks awesome, and at the same time it has many features that we're all looking to have on a gimbal. This is the new Hohem iSteady M6. It is a completely new design. I really like all the things they did to this gimbal, and I think that this could be the gimbal of the year. I'm going to start talking about the basic specs of this gimbal and then show you all you can do with this new iSteady M6. And by the end of this video, I get the feeling that many of you will fall in love with this gimbal. Inside the box, the Hohem iSteady M6 comes with this tripod, this carrying case, and a USB-C charging cable. This gimbal also came with this fill light, which has a vision sensor next to the light. And this sensor is a big deal, but I'll talk about this in a few minutes. The build quality of this gimbal is really good. It's easy to tell that Hohem wanted to make a gimbal that feels good in the hand. And not only that, but this gimbal also has a beautiful design and color details that are not easy to find in other gimbals. This is how the gimbal looks when you lock it down, so I don't think that it will fit inside your pockets. But this gimbal has this traditional design that has a few advantages. For example, it allows the gimbal to tilt up or down with a huge range of movement. The arms on this motor goes in the front like this. It is the default position, and I don't think we have ever seen anything like this. But this actually helps to keep the screen clear from obstacles when you try to either see what you have there or if you want to change the settings on your smartphone. I found that this is also useful when you need to do low-angle shots, as this motor will never get in the way. The drawback of this comes when you need to use a wide-angle lens because the camera will see the arm and the motor. But Hohem thought about this, and if you press the trigger 4 times, it will flip the motor backwards and behave as a regular gimbal. The iSteady M6 has a weight of 550 grams and the tripod weighs 75 grams. The fill light has a weight of 25 grams, so we're looking at 650 grams in total. What is really awesome is that the M6 will support heavier smartphones up to 400 grams. I don't think I have anything that heavy, but this phone with these 2 clamps will simulate a 400 grams smartphone. And the M6 doesn't have any problems whatsoever holding this. The clamp that holds the phone on the M6 is quite big, and it will hold most phones with their case. And if you have big smartphones like the iPhone 14 Plus, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, or the new Samsung S23 Ultra, you're not going to have issues with the M6. The battery on the iSteady M6 will run for about 16 hours, and it took me about 3 hours to fully charge the battery from 0 to 100%. The M6 can also be used as a power bank to charge your smartphone with a simple USB-C cable. You probably have seen this type of lights before, but nothing compares to this one. This one is quite unique. The fill light is magnetic. You place it at the top of the gimbal like this, and you can also turn it around. It works in landscape and portrait mode, and this light is dimmable and it is bright enough for situations where you might need some extra light. And you can change the color temperature from 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. At this point, you're most likely not impressed. But what if I told you that this fill light can be used in RGB mode? You can select any color that you need, make your videos a bit more creative, and the best part is that you don't need to place any color filters. If you're still not impressed, this sensor is going to blow your mind. This vision sensor will let you track a person, and it doesn't matter if you're using an iPhone, a Samsung, a Google Pixel, a OnePlus, you name it. the tracking is completely done by the gimbal and the sensor, and this means that you don't need to use the Hohem app and you don't need to have any kind of connection like Bluetooth. As a matter of fact, you can use this with your native camera app, or you can use it while making videos with other apps like Instagram, TikTok, and so on. This also means that you can use it when you are streaming using any app that you want, and the tracking will work just fine. To activate the sensor, all you have to do is this gesture and it will start tracking you. To make it stop tracking, you just have to show your palm like this, and you can also reframe the tracking composition by doing this gesture. To describe the tracking, all I'm going to say is that it is amazing. I have been testing this for a few weeks now, and it is very sticky even in low light situations. And because you can flip the sensor around, you can use it to track yourself or track someone who is not using the gimbal. On the left side of the gimbal, the M6 has this big wheel, and this will let you use manual focus. And if you press the wheel, you can use it to manually rotate the roll axis. The manual focus works inside the Hohem app, and it works well on iPhone and Android devices. The wheel will also control the fill light, the brightness and color mode that you want to use. Next to the wheel, we have the A and B buttons. This will make the gimbal move from point A to B or from point B to A, and this can be done without the app. You can set any direction that you want, and you can also set the duration to go from one point to the other to 1, 5, 15, 30 or 60 minutes. It's a great feature to have if you want your own camera to do time lapses instead of using the Hohem app, but you can also use this to add movement to your videos without the need of someone operating the gimbal. At the front of the gimbal, we have the joystick that will let you move the camera in any direction. It is omnidirectional and it responds very well to your movements. Instead of having the zoom control on the left side, the zoom is controlled by this lever that you need to push up or pull down to zoom in or to zoom out. Another major improvement is this new OLED screen, which is quite big for a smartphone gimbal. The design is very clean and easy to understand, and it will show you some basic information. So no more guessing around of what's going on the gimbal. For example, it will let you know if the wheel is set to focus or to rotate the roll axis. If you're using the fill light, it will show you all the information about the light, for example, the brightness, the color temperature, and so on. On the right side, we have the Bluetooth connection status, so it's clear whether we are connected or not, and there is also a battery life indicator. Last but not least, right in the middle, we have the current gimbal mode that we're using. You can use this M button to change the different gimbal modes, and this is great because you don't need to go inside the menu on the app. You can select pan follow, pan and tilt follow, lock mode, and POV mode. So this M button is very convenient if you want to use your native camera app, the Hohem app, or any other app. If you triple tap the M button, it will make the gimbal go into inception mode, and this mode will make the camera spin clockwise, and with inception mode, you just have to hold the gimbal in a horizontal position and it actually spins by itself. It will do 360 degrees, the camera will never see the arm or the motor, and it will keep spinning until you stop it. And let's not forget about under-slung mode, where you can flip the gimbal upside down, and this will let you take low-angle shots in a very easy way. In my opinion, Hohem has done a fantastic job by putting together all these features. But I also wanted to test how stable is the M6, and some of the videos that you're seeing right now were done by someone with no experience using a gimbal. So all I had to do was turn the gimbal on and explain a few basic movements. After I used this gimbal by myself, I realized how smooth and easy to use it is. And I also want to make it clear that none of these videos have any post stabilization, and I'm really happy of how stable this gimbal is. The app that you can use for this gimbal is called Hohem Joy, and here you can select the camera mode that you want to use. For example, video mode, time lapses, panorama shots, photo mode, and slow motion. Videos can be shot at 4K at 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. Time-lapse works at 4K at 30 frames per second, and slow motion can be done at 1080p at 120 or 240 frames per second. You can also select manual settings if you select professional mode, and this will let you change the shutter speed, the ISO, and the white balance. All of this was tested on an iPhone. If you have an Android device, the M6 will only support 24 or 30 frames per second in video mode. But the good news is that you can turn on professional mode to manually change the shutter speed, the ISO, and the white balance, just like on the iPhone. But yeah, you need to know that Android smartphones will not shoot at 60 frames per second, there is no slow motion, and it seems that panorama mode is also missing from the app. These Android limitations are not exclusive to this brand, so for me, they are not really a deal breaker, especially since we can use the tracking without their app. I think that this is a great choice if you're looking for a great gimbal. If you're not so sure, you can subscribe to this channel because I will have more videos about this gimbal soon. Before I finish, Hohem sent me an email saying that they will sell a basic version of the gimbal for around $150, and basic means that it doesn't have the vision sensor. If you want to buy the gimbal with the sensor, it's going to be around $200, but let me tell you, the sensor is a good investment, so I highly recommend to get the complete package. I'll put the link of this gimbal down below if you want to buy it or if you just want to check on the current price, because you never know, there might be a discount going on right now. That is going to be all for today. I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Otto, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.